The sound of her own heartbeat was the only thing keeping her conscious. It thudded violently in her ears, like it was trying to outrun her body even faster than her legs could carry her. Jenna Briggs didn't dare look back. She already knew what she'd see if she did, headlights tearing through the darkness, men shouting, boots pounding after her like hounds who'd caught the scent of their prey. A dead-end night. A life-or-death sprint. And she was losing ground. Her shoes slapped the pavement of the lonely highway, worn soles barely gripping the cracked surface as she pushed harder. The cold air stung her lungs, burning each breath like fire, but she couldn't stop, not even for a second. Not after what she'd escaped. Not after what she'd seen. "Please, someone, please," she whispered, the words breaking apart in the wind. Every part of her body screamed for her to collapse, but her fear shoved her forward. The men behind her had guns. They had power. And worst of all, they had her name. They'd spent weeks drilling fear into her bones until she no longer remembered what hope felt like. A glimmer of light flashed ahead. Jenna stumbled, blinking hard. Was that a lamp? A streetlight? No, it was too bright, too white, too unnatural. Something metallic caught the reflection, standing tall in the middle of nowhere. She squinted through the blur of tears and exhaustion. Not something. Someone. No, not someone. Something. A massive figure stood in the road, 8 feet tall, shoulders wide like a steel doorway, arms plated like armor forged in a furnace. Its eyes glowed faintly, 2 soft amber lights flickering under the moon. It didn't move. Didn't flinch. Didn't react. Just stood there, watching her run toward it. Jenna's steps slowed despite her terror. Her legs shook. Her voice trembled. "What are you?" she whispered. But she had no time to think. Because the moment she stopped, headlights behind her swung sharply around the curve, bright beams exploding across the asphalt. They found her. "Jenna," a man shouted. "Stop right there." She did the opposite. She shoved herself forward, straight toward the iron giant, praying, hoping, that whatever it was less dangerous than the men who wanted her dead. She was 10 feet away. 5. 3. Then the world rumbled. A low, metallic hum rose around her, vibrating through her chest. The giant's eyes shifted, soft amber turning into sharp red, alive, aware, engaged. Jenna gasped. It moved. With a grinding whir of gears, the steel titan stepped forward, placing itself directly between her and the oncoming trucks. The ground trembled under its weight. Plates along its arms unfolded into 2 massive shields. The men behind her shouted. Tires screeched. The iron figure spoke, its voice deep, layered, mechanical, almost human. "Civilian in danger." Jenna froze, breath caught in her throat. "Engaging protection protocol." The trucks accelerated. The men leaned out the windows, yelling commands. Then the world erupted into chaos. Gunfire cracked through the night, sharp, rapid, deadly. Jenna covered her ears and dropped to her knees as bullets ricocheted off the Guardian's shields, sparks bursting like tiny fireworks. The Titan didn't move. Didn't retreat. Didn't hesitate. It simply absorbed the storm. A second metallic figure activated behind it, eyes glowing bright blue. Then another. And another. All rising, all waking, all turning toward the threat racing down the road. Jenna stared in disbelief. A whole line of iron giants, silent until now, stood between her and the men who wanted to capture her. The lead Guardian stomped forward, the asphalt cracking beneath the impact. "Stand down," it boomed. The men shouted something back, she couldn't hear over her heartbeat. The Guardian raised its arm. A shockwave blasted forward like thunder trapped inside metal. The nearest truck lurched off the ground, flipping sideways before skidding violently across the road. Jenna flinched hard, breath shaking. The second truck swerved, trying to escape, but another guardian lunged forward with unbelievable speed, grabbing the front bumper and grinding the entire vehicle to a smoking halt. Silence fell. Except for Jenna's ragged breathing. Her hands shook so violently she could barely push her hair from her face. She tried to stand but fell again, her legs too weak to hold her weight. The lead guardian turned toward her. Its red eyes softened back to warm amber. "You are safe," it said. Safe. She hadn't heard that word in months. Jenna covered her face, tears spilling through her fingers. Her body shook with the release of terror she'd been holding for far too long. A new voice, human, gentle, came from behind the guardians. "You're all right," the man said. "They can't hurt you anymore." She blinked up through her tears to see a man in his late 30s walking toward her. Clean jacket. Calm eyes. Hands raised to show he meant no harm. "My name's Nathan Cole," he said softly. "You're with the Iron Guardian Response Unit now." Jenna's lips trembled. Why did they save me?" "Because you ran for help," Nathan said. "And they always answer." She broke, finally allowing herself to breathe. For the first time since her nightmare began, she wasn't alone. Jenna's legs wobbled as she tried to stand, but Nathan quickly offered his hand, not grabbing her, not forcing her, just letting her decide. After a moment of hesitation, she placed her trembling fingers in his. He pulled her to her feet gently, like she was something fragile he didn't want to break. The guardians stood in a protective formation around them, silent and unmoving now that the threat was neutralized. Their eyes glowed faint amber, like warm coals resting after a storm. "We need to get you checked," Nathan said, lowering his voice so it didn't echo off the metal giants. "No pressure, no interrogation. Just safety. That's what you need right now. Safety." The word felt foreign in Jenna's mind, as if it belonged to another lifetime. Shivering, she glanced back at the overturned trucks. The men were being secured by two guardians, their weapons crushed as if made of paper. The sight should have terrified her, but strangely, it didn't. What frightened her more was the familiar tattoo on one of the men's wrists, the same emblem that had been on the walls of the place she escaped. Nathan followed her gaze and nodded knowingly. "They won't get near you again," he said. "Not while we're here." Jenna hugged her arms around herself. "You don't understand, they keep coming back. They find me no matter where I run." Nathan stepped beside her. "Not past them," he said, tilting his head toward the guardians. "Not past us." The lead guardian suddenly turned, its metal frame adjusting with a low hum. "Safe zone activated," it announced. "Civilian, follow." The guardians began moving in formation, guiding Jenna and Nathan toward a path she hadn't noticed before. It led off the road, deeper into the woods, but lined with strange silver lights embedded into the ground like hidden beacons. Nathan gestured forward. "We have a secure facility about 2 miles out. It's hidden, reinforced, and loaded with tech that group doesn't even know exists. Once we're there, you can rest." Jenna hesitated. "Why would you help me? You don't even know me." Nathan gave a quiet, warm smile. "We don't help people because we know them. We help people because they need it." Her throat tightened. No one had spoken to her with that kind of softness in, she couldn't even remember how long. As they walked, the guardians surrounded them like a moving fortress, metal giants protecting one trembling girl. Jenna kept glancing up at them, half expecting them to vanish like a hallucination. But every time she stumbled, the guardian nearest her slowed its pace, adjusting to match her steps. She finally whispered, "They're incredible." Nathan nodded. They were built for one purpose, to protect people who can't protect themselves. Jenna swallowed hard, her voice barely audible. "People like me." "Exactly," Nathan said. The forest slowly opened into a clearing. A structure loomed ahead, modern, angular, with reinforced steel walls and panels that glowed faint blue. It looked like a cross between a lab and a shelter, tucked discreetly beneath towering trees. "Facility is clear," one guardian announced. The gate slid open with a smooth hiss. Inside, warm light washed over Jenna's cold skin. The air smelled faintly of pine and sterilized metal. It was the first place she'd been in months that didn't feel like danger. Nathan led her inside. "We'll get you warm, fed, and checked. No pressure. No demands. You decide what happens next." Jenna stood still, absorbing everything. Her eyes glistened as she looked at the guardians positioned around the room, watching her without judgment, without threat. She turned to Nathan. "I'm not used to people giving me choices." "Then that changes now," he said gently. "Whatever you've been through, this is the line where it stops." Her chest tightened. She nodded slowly. A soft chime echoed as the lead guardian stepped closer. "Civilian status, stabilizing," it said. "Fear level, reducing." Jenna almost laughed, a broken little sound, but it was the first hint of joy she'd felt in so long. Nathan guided her to a seat. "Rest. You've been running long enough." She sank onto the chair, exhaustion flooding her limbs. For the first time in months, she allowed herself to breathe fully. To exist without terror. But as she sat there, staring at the guardians, something inside her shifted. "I don't want to run anymore," she said quietly. Nathan pulled up a chair beside her. "Then you won't. We'll help you face whatever comes next. You don't have to do it alone." Tears filled her eyes, not of fear this time, but of release. She whispered, "Thank you. I thought the world was done with me." Nathan shook his head. "Not even close. Sometimes the world sends help at the exact moment you think there's none left." The lead guardian lowered its head slightly, almost like a bow. "You are safe," it repeated softly. Jenna believed it. For the first time since her nightmare began, she believed it. She wasn't just alive. She was free. And this time, she wouldn't face the future alone. Not with Nathan. Not with the Iron Guardians. Not with hope rising from the ashes of her fear. The nightmare was over. And her new life had just begun.